Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California at 6:10 a.m. my time. It is 9:10 a.m. in the on the East Coast, and it's an hour in between every longitude in between. Um, Time zone longitude that is. Okay, so I want to talk about the rules today by Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider. Today we are going to go for all of the confidence that looks good in Not Your Mother's Rules, the new secrets for dating, as well as the rules for marriage, time tested secrets to make your marriage work. Be supportive. This is rule number 8. The authors, Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider, started a worldwide revolution in dating. They said men still prefer the chase. Men still prefer the chase. You can beat them in all kinds of business ventures, but when you're in a romantic relationship, he still wants to take the lead, like on a dance floor. You can help him take the lead by giving him choices. Would you like to wear the blue jacket or the red? Rule number 8, be supportive. How do you and your husband send each other off to work every day? Do you yell, "Have a good day," from the other side of the house as he's walking out the door? Do you admonish, "Call me if you're going to be late for dinner"? Do you rush him out the door with, "Go already or you'll miss the train"? Do you even bother to say goodbye or kiss him? When your husband announces a career change, a financial investment, or starts a new diet, do you take a skeptical wait and see, quote, end quote, attitude? If the above describes you, more or less, you are doing your husband and your marriage a disservice. You should treat your husband like a warrior who is going out to battle every day. Rally him on. It's a jungle out there and he needs your support. Be his cheerleader. The next time he goes to work, give him a big smooch, a pat on the back, and a few words of encouragement. Any of the following will do. Good luck with your sales call. Knock 'em dead with your presentation. Kill the competition. I know you'll get that accounted. If you don't, they're idiots. You can do it. I'm rooting for you. I want to hear all about the case when you come home. If every man were sent to work with a big vote of confidence, productivity would skyrocket. Every man needs someone to build his ego. He can't count on his boss, his clients, his friends, or his kids to do it. You're it. It's up to you. Pump him up. Pump. Pump him up the most when he is not doing so well. It's easy to believe in a man when he's just been promoted or is making a ton of money, but what about when he's just scraping by? Let's say your husband is an aspiring comedy writer who makes his living driving a cab. When you were dating, you laughed at all his jokes and told him that you knew he was going to be the next Jay Leno. It's been 5 years since your last vacation, and your support is waning. You're on the verge of saying, "Forget comedy and get a regular job like your cousin, the CPA." We know how you feel, but saying it will do more harm than good, and it won't work. Unless your husband has expressed an interest in accounting or quitting comedy, do not play career counselor. Keep laughing at his jokes and being supportive, unless, of course, you are starving and can't pay the rent. Remember your wedding vows. Don't be a fair weather wife. Let's say your husband just announced that he is leaving his comfortable corporate job to start his own software business. There, there go the paid vacations and health insurance. He's working longer hours for less money, spending your joint savings on computers, fax machines, and phones, but he's convinced he's going to be the next Bill Gates. You're not exactly a happy camper. You want to scream. So, what was so bad about your corporate job? Bite your tongue. or he will think that you do not believe in him. Your entrepreneurial husband needs your encouragement. How would you like it if he disapproved of your quote, silly, end quote, decision to leave a high paying job to do work at home just because you didn't show a profit right away? Even if your husband is full of himself, he should be allowed to dream. Let him. Don't burst his bubble. Let him dream. Why would any man want to come home to a wife who rolled her eyes and said, right, every time he had an idea or made a resolution? Maybe your husband wants to run for local political office. You know he doesn't have a prayer. He's running anyway. You want to say, you've got to be kidding. But in this case, he doesn't want to hear the truth. He wants your support. So give it to him. Call all your friends and tell them to vote for him. Stand by his side when he gives speeches, buys buttons and balloons, and throw him a campaign party. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses. What matters is that you believe in him. We know what you're thinking. This is all very childish, but men can be childish sometimes, so just go along with it if you want to make your marriage strong. Don't be a party pooper. Maybe your husband is going on his fifth diet this year. You want to say, and what's going to make this one any different? His diets usually last about 3 weeks and end in donut binges at 2 o'clock in the morning. On his last diet, he actually gained 3 pounds. You have every right to be cynical. The facts speak for themselves, but your husband will appreciate some amnesia on your part and undying support, even if you have to act a little. And I'll say that when a person gains 3 pounds on their diet, it's not necessarily a bad thing. What it can mean is that they were watching out enough that they didn't happen to gain 65 pounds during that time period. You have to know that sometimes stress drives a person crazy. So, and then sometimes some people will eat. So that you have to know that. So if they gain 3 pounds, you have to say, well, it's better than gaining a lot of weight. You probably would have gained a lot more if, and then you say something encouraging. Okay, so the authors here say, great, say they say for your, even if you have to act a little, say, great, how can I help you? Do you want me to throw out the bread, stock up on tuna, make you lunch every day? I know you can do it. This isn't being dishonest, it's being kind. If bursting a man's bubble would make him earn more money or lose weight, then we'd say do it, but it doesn't. It crushes his ego and creates resentment. Being supportive is no guarantee your husband will be a success, but it will boost his confidence and improve your relationship. So we're reading Time-Tested Secrets for Making Your Marriage Work, The Rules for Marriage by Fein and Sherrie Schneider. We're trying to keep up the creature unlike any other. Appearance and projection, confidence always looks good. So be supportive of your husband. Support him in everything, say the authors. If your husband has a cold or sore throat, don't minimize it. Pay attention to him. Baby him. Make him his favorite soup. Offer to get him medicine. If his favorite football team loses, show empathy even if you couldn't care less. He will appreciate it. Don't forget to thank him and praise him whenever possible when he takes out the garbage, mows the lawn, or hangs a picture on the wall. Make him feel needed and good about himself. Remember, behind every great man is a supportive wife. If you appreciate him, he'll do even more. And if you believe in him, he's more likely to believe in himself and in you. He'll want to make you proud, and you will be. So that's great. That is so, so, so cool. Okay, say what you mean, but don't say it meanly. You don't always have to hit your husband over the head with a hammer to be heard. Sometimes you can get what you want by just asking or making your case nicely. Here are some suggestions. You want to say, when's the last time you gave me a back rub? Instead, say, I'd love a back rub. This is called speaking from the I words. Me, you, I see. And it works. You ask for what you need without calling him selfish. You get what you give. Or you want to say, "You look terrible in that orange shirt." Instead, say, "I think your blue shirt really brings out your eyes." It's always good to look at the bright side of things. He will appreciate the compliment. Who likes to be told they don't look good in something? Your husband forgets to buy bread on his way home from work, even though you reminded him 3 times that day. Don't say, "What a moron. How could you forget the bread? I guess I have to do everything around here myself." Say, "Next time, could you maybe write down bread on a post-it or email yourself so you don't forget?" Don't you don't like his haircut. Don't say, "Your ears are sticking out. You look ridiculous." Say, "I know a great hair cutter." Your husband asks you to drive him to the airport for a business trip. Don't say, "I'm not your chauffeur." Say, "I really would if I could, but I have appointments all morning. How about if I call a cab?" Your husband thinks that the filet mignon is not tender enough. Don't say, "If you don't like it, you can eat at a restaurant." Say, "Really? I really like it this way, but I'll try not to cook yours as long next time." You get the idea. There's a nice way and a mean way of saying just about anything. So, why do we choose the mean way more often than not? Because we're frustrated, hurt, self righteous, want to make a point, want revenge, or just in a complete state of shock or disbelief at our husband's behavior and must let him know it. In other words, we're not thinking too hard. We want to beat, that's what I say anyway. We want to, this is the authors, we want to beat him over the head with a sledgehammer, not a feather, so he hears us. Or we go to the other extreme and give him the silent treatment. Silent scorn. Both ways are extremely harmful to a relationship and can ruin an evening or a week or a month of your marriage. Remember the last time you were sarcastic or mean or critical? Did it get you anywhere? Probably not. In other words, he may do what you want him to do, but inside he's simmering some resentment. Some resentment is simmering there, and it'll come out later if you've got it simmering there. Don't make his resentment simmer. Make it go away. So the authors say, the next time you're upset and want to say something mean, reread this chapter. Take a deep breath, calm down, and think of a nice way of saying the same thing. You can actually turn this into a game you can play with your friends. Tell them what you want to say and ask them to help you figure out what you're going to say instead. You may be thinking, "But this is so silly. What difference will a few words make?" Or you may think, "This is not being true to my feelings." We know exactly how you feel. We have felt that way too, but we learned to look at it this way. We have a higher self and a lower self. Telling the truth without consideration for another person's feelings is your lower self. There's an expression. Truth without kindness is cruelty. Nobody, especially your husband, wants the so called truth if the truth is you hate his clothes or wish he made more money. So, the next time you are about to say something hurtful, pause and think of how you can soften the blow. We guarantee you will feel better about yourself. Your husband will appreciate your kindness, and you may just get what you want after all. Don't use the D word, divorce. Rule number 16. Just now was rule number 15. How many times have you had a fight about something trivial, and before you know it, you were threatening divorce? You felt so angry, so hurt, so frustrated, so unloved in that moment that you didn't care what you said. The sky's the limit, and you said the D word even though you didn't really mean it. Hmm. Why did you say it? Because you wanted your husband's attention. The D word has shock value. You want him to hear it and make up quickly, or reassure you of his eternal devotion. You want him to say, "Divorce? Don't be silly. I love you forever. Never say that word again." The problem is, if you say it once for dramatic effect or reassurance, you'll say it every time you fight or want attention, and before you know it, you'll be planting poison in your marriage. It will be in the air, and maybe one day you will act on your idle threats or he will. You reap what you sow. So if you don't really want a divorce, don't even say it. Take the word out of your vocabulary. It's important. Take your word out of your vocabulary. Never say it ever, ever. Think about what you're saying when you've calmed down. Better to confide in a friend than to constantly chant divorce, divorce until it has no meaning. If you carelessly throw the word around, you will have no credibility anyway. Remember how we told you never to bring up the marriage word when you were dating him? Well, ditto for the divorce word when you're married. Tell yourself, quote, not allowed, quote, end quote. It's hitting below the belt. Saying divorce in the middle of an argument is like a child saying, I don't want to play anymore, rather than solving the problem in your marriage, whatever that may be on any given day. You are sending the message that you just want out. You don't want to play anymore. And that's childish. We're not judging anyone who has not behaved childishly at one time or another with spouses and loved ones. Is there anyone who hasn't said mean, spiteful things, slammed doors, or walked out when the anger and hurt felt warranted? As everyone knows, love and hate are very close, so it's only natural to feel hatred sometimes when someone you love has hurt you. The problem is saying the mean, rotten things feels good for about a minute, but an hour or so later, you feel remorse. You can't just undo mean words you have spoken. So this is The Rules for Marriage, Time-Tested Secrets for Making Your Marriage Work by Fein and Sherrie Schneider. Morsels of a Thought, number 1642. I have been here every morning for you, and I have given you episodes of trying to make you feel good, have a good day, inspire you to impart good wisdom, and know what to do for your lives. When we do what we, when we act on wisdom, meaning when we do the right things to do, we are doing acts of virtue. And I want to add more virtue into the world. We need virtue in this world. We need it badly, badly, badly enough that we need it to be spread by everyone, every day, all the time, where we are. Everyone, all the time, every time, where we are. Okay. All right. So back to the authors. Ellen Fein and Sherrie Schneider say, we know women who constantly say how tired or unhappy they are, and how it's because of him, and their husbands start to believe them. You are what you say, so choose your words carefully. Saying divorce eventually backfires. Men tend to mirror what their wives say. So if you say we have a good marriage, your husband will think so too. If you constantly say how unhappy you are with him, he will think you are and think he is. So be careful what you say around your husband. Here we are. It's not only the divorce word that you must refrain from saying, but anything like it, such as, I should never have married you anyway, or I'd be happy if I never saw you again. Bad language should also be off limits. It's just not ladylike or nice. All of the above are not only hurtful, they can irreparably damage a marriage. There are some husbands who may forgive these outbursts, but they may never forget. Men tend to store bad stuff. They're not like women who can let it roll off their backs over lunch with a girlfriend or during a fun shopping spree. So Why take a chance and say the D word, especially if you probably don't mean it anyway? If you are prone to saying divorce and statements like that in your marriage, you must find an appropriate way to vent your anger. Friends, therapist, support group, so that you don't do damage. In the next chapter, we suggest rules for fighting so that you don't have to resort to saying things you don't mean. If you just said the D word yesterday or 5 minutes ago, apologize, but the best way to make amends is to not say it the next time you are tempted to. Sorry is never as effective as simply not saying it at all. Now, we went through rule number 17, don't scream, speak softly. When it comes to men, it's not what you say, it's how loudly or softly you say it. And most men prefer that you say it softly. Say it softly, and you will have their complete attention. Scream, and they tune out. Pull the phone away from their ear or leave the room, even if what you are screaming is right, true, and important. We asked a few men if screaming is ever a good idea, and one said, yes, during sex. That says it all. I have to tell you about yesterday. There was a woman who goes through our garden, and she's been picking things out, pulling out roots, so pulling out plants by the roots and planting calla lilies everywhere, using a butcher knife to hack off some bark from a eucalyptus tree, and then plant sticks sticking up in the ground, and then get some ugly looking bricks and rocks, stubble from old buildings, and just plunking them down in various piles in the garden. And yesterday she actually went as far as to use rat poison. And so we had a shouting match. I said, "Hey, what are you doing up there?" And she said, "Oh, I'm not throwing garbage down. I'm making sure the mice don't get everything." And in California and in our city, at least, using rat poison is discouraged because it will harm the wildlife more than it solves the mouse problem. So we had a little shouting match. I was like, "Hey, you promised." And she said, "Don't you tell me how to live. I'm the one living old. I'm the one having a bad life." We are all, oh boy. So yeah, that was so I apologized to everybody. I said, "Sorry for the noise. The management has asked her to not do that 5 times. I'm gonna go tell the management about it now." Blah 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 blah. Anyway, like a sheep. Okay, back to the authors. Okay. There are hints and hints and hints. And doing all of the above means foregoing the satisfaction of screaming at your husband, which you may actually enjoy sometimes. Oh boy, your husband may start avoiding you, watch TV all the time, find reasons to stay at the office late, or look for soft spoken women at bars and nightclubs. Even if your husband puts up with your temper, has screaming ever gotten you anywhere? Best reason to speak to your husband softly is that he will listen, which is what you wanted in the first place. And you will feel good about yourself, as opposed to feeling like a raving lunatic. Try it. So, yeah, yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it was a whole different thing than the rules, but certainly my higher self could have said in a soft voice, "Ma'am, you said you weren't going to do that anymore. Could you stop, please?" I could have said that, and she would tell me to go bug off, and then I would go bug off and tell the management. That's what my higher self should have said. Okay. Old Kinderhook.